Yo, Weekend Gabe holding you down on this Tuesday night like we always do around this time. Actually, we haven't been doing a lot of much lately. The last couple weeks I've been not here, but planning and plotting. And we are back at it. We got a big show tonight. If you're joining us on Twitch, on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, however you're joining us, thanks for rocking with us. We got a big show tonight. Chicago hip hop is definitely on deck. We have C Money Wave and the Hooligan, who have a new album out, Silent Giant. And then we also have Vel the General, who has a new album out titled The Militia, with guest spots from Jadakiss, who has Smoke Dizza, Vic Spencer, Race Bannon, a bunch of great people. So we're going to get into all that tonight. But let me rope in the new producer of Weekend at Gabe's, Mr.
Yo.
Sam Crane. How are you, sir?
Yo, the real Sam Crane. You know what
The real Sam Crane. My
the real Sam Crane.
All right, let me fade this down and just cut that off. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. I've just played C Money Wave's new song on the show last week. So it's awesome to see that he's involved here, and it's great to be involved here myself, man.
The whole Silent Giant EP is phenomenal, and I told him that as much. I said, like, yo, this shit is fireballs, man. I can't even begin to tell you how amazing the record is and how much I really enjoy it. And it's it's brief, but it's so good for like the 18 minutes that it is.
That's what people want these days, man. You know, like I see all these artists out here just putting out these hour-long tapes, going the Drake Scorpion route, and man, 18 minutes is where we need it to be, man. 18 minutes is where the kids' attention spans are at.
I don't necessarily think that it's like 18 minutes is where I need to be at, but I'd rather you leave me wanting more than me saying that's too much. So there's always the leave them wanting more than giving them too much and then making me hate you, because I don't want to listen to. Me and an old friend of mine, O Diesel from Planet Ill, we both agree that no one really deserves to have a double album. Like, there's no we've seen Jay-Z try to do a double album, not very good. We've seen Master P make a bunch of double albums, not very good. Even if I will be critical and say that Tupac's All Eyes on Me, not great, very good, but not great.
Big coming from you. That's big coming from you.
It's really not. It's really not a controversial opinion, because if you listen to if you can stand All Eyes on Me, shout out because it turned 25 last week. But if you can stand All Eyes on Me for 2 straight hours, you are a stronger person than me. If you can listen to Scorpion from Drake, what's it called? Scorpion? Is that the name of the double album?
I'm dead serious. I still have not got through that album. So somebody should give me a rundown of the songs that I should listen to, because god damn, man, that is a marathon of an album that I don't like.
I don't need double albums. I just need 12 great songs. Give me 12 great songs. If you want to throw a skit in there and try to be funny, that's fantastic too. Let's go. But
you're still a fan of the skits. The kids are not fans of these skits. It's because people really aren't that funny. You know what I mean?
So like with the Silent Giant EP from C Money Wave and Hooligan, they had they weren't really skits, but they were kind of like interludes or bridges to the next song. So they had like all the wrestling references in the record, and I was like, I think that's cool.
See, if you're making like a cohesive idea, like, yes, keep all those in there, but it can go either way.
Yeah, exactly. But it's I'd like the skits. I think that it's an old school OG thing to do. But if you could do it well, and I'm just not talking about like, yo, I'm just gonna put a bunch of like gun sound effects and murder everyone on this skit, then I mean, depends. It could be really great, but I just think that you could do something that's like, for example, right, with Biggie with the Ready to Die album, like he had the fucking skit, with him and Little Kim. Yeah. And it's like, and then he goes into the what with Method Man. It's like, it's amazing. It's like, yeah, you can't listen to it with kids around, but it's part of the album, the experience of the album. But if you're just gonna do like a throwaway skit that serves no purpose, then I'd rather you not do that. But it depends. Some people are really good at it. Like De La Soul is excellent at it. Prince Paul is excellent at the skits. I mean, they're all like kind of one and the same when it comes to that because they were like really the founders of that. But either way, but some people are really great at it. Like Snoop doing the like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm gonna be a motherfucking hustler. Like, could you imagine Doggy Style without that? So I don't know. But I understand today's makeup of music and our listening experience is definitely different than 25 years ago. But I think some things can still work if they're done well. And too far often, I think the younger generation gives up on trying to do hard things because they think that I just recorded this great song in 4 minutes. So why am I going to spend 20 minutes on trying to create a skit?
Yeah, man, it's a lot of people making music. It's not a lot of people making art, but everybody want to call themselves an artist.
Exactly. So it's not, it's all right though. It's all good.
Yeah.
So we usually around this time we're C Money Wave and Hooligan are going to be joining us in just a minute to talk about their new EP. But we also do a little bit of we call it news that only Gabe cares about. So news that was going on today. There is a no one really knows yet if the official title of the new Spider-Man film is it Phone Home, is it Home Wrecker, is it Home Slice? No one really knows. But either way, we're talking about it. So Spider-Man is on deck, which is I'm a fan of all the Spider-Man, the newer Spider-Man films with Tom Holland. So,
I'm so glad that this is my first episode because literally I will go see all of those movies by myself in a theater. Like back when theaters were still a thing, I will walk in that thing by myself with nobody, not a date, not a bag of popcorn, nothing, and watch the whole Spider-Man movie. So yes, let's talk about it.
Why do you think that theaters are not a thing? There is a part of this country where theaters have not shut down. They exist. They are not. Yeah, it's not like they disappeared. They're still presently part of our culture, and they will return.
But people are scared to do it, like people are, and it's not the vaccine of it, because people will be safe before they stop being scared. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, man. It's like falling off a horse, right? Like you gotta convince people to get back on a horse.
I went to go see Tenet when it was, remember like when.
You went in theaters?
Yeah, I went to the Logan Square Theater. And,
nice.
They had, it was only like 10 people in the theater. It wasn't a lot of people. It was it was like the first week after they came back a weekend, and then it was like was it the weekend? It was the first weekend they were reopened, and then they ended up closing like a week later because it was just like I guess it just there wasn't enough films to get people to come out.
Right.
Like Tenet was like Tenet, and then the fucking the Muppets or the fucking. Not the Muppets. Of those.
The Croods, right? Wasn't it the
Croods? Croods was like Thanksgiving. What's the fucking not the Care Bears? The ones with the little blue, the Smurfs, the Smurfs film. Like it was like that.
Oh, they made a whole new Smurfs. I didn't even know that.
I think so. But anyways, there wasn't anything out, so like to sustain people to come through. And I think they just got tired of playing Back to the Future.
Well, I think there's there's a certain amount of supply demand problem with them that they're going to have to reckon with. But speaking of Tenet, I had to watch that movie 3 times to get the plot because maybe I smoked so much weed beforehand or whatever. But I had to watch it 3 times. That is my fear going into this Spider-Man joint because they're talking multiverses in all of these articles that I'm hearing. And am I going to have another Tenet situation on my hands where I don't get it for at least 2 watches?
Doesn't this seem like oddly like the same plot that DC is doing with the Flash? That he blends through time and he meets the old Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman, and then he meets the Ben Affleck Batman. It's like it kind of feels like similar. I mean, it's not, but it feels like it. I mean,
I think when I get a situation like that where it's DC Marvel and it feels similar, I'm like, yeah, probably DC got there first, but Marvel's gonna do it better. Also, my computer is sitting on it right now, but I highly recommend that everybody go pick up the new Stan Lee biography. It was written by a friend of mine, Abraham Reisman, and he really takes a deep dive into Stan Lee as a human being, and how many of his more famous stories are apocryphal versus real life based in fact.
And what's all right? Shoot me the link to that, or
yeah, for sure I will.
So I'm always looking for books to pull in. All right. Well, we're gonna get into our interview part of the show, Sam. So hang tight. We're C Money Wave, who is joining us in the guest room, joins us now on Weekend at Gabe's. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am good. What's going on, people?
We are good, man. We're so glad that you can make time for Sam and I on Weekend at Gabe's here on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, all the social medias, everywhere and anywhere. We are broadcasting live to you and yours. You have the new album out, Silent Giant with Hooligan. Man, it's a fantastic listen. I told you about it. We were kind of joking that 18 minutes is probably the sweet spot for some of the newer listeners, but I think that's a little bit too short for me, but I'm glad. But I would rather you leave me wanting more than giving me a lot of what I don't want. So I feel like it's for this project in itself, it's a great stop and start point of time because of how well you guys executed, sequence, produced the album with the guest spots. Everything seemed to be great. Even the big Worm Friday drop before Worm goes in and rap. It's like everything is like perfectly sequenced and put where it needs to be. So I'm fine with the time on it. The record, the EP is fantastic, man. So congratulations to you guys.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's really what we were, trying to hit for on this first one. We've got more music that we've done together, but this first project was to just kind of introduce everybody to the sound that we're, trying to create and push forward. And we felt like 6 songs at that time, with the 16 minutes, it's like right where it needed to be, like a good serving sample, so people can be wanting more moving forward.
Absolutely, man. It's and I mentioned that it's like it's a blend between like nerdcore and hardcore because the rhymes are hard, but it's also very nerdy in some of the elements, some of the topics, things that people think are fake, like wrestling, which is not. Surprise. But then like some of the video game elements that I mentioned that were like incorporated into the record. So it's like this great combination of like things that you like you're fans of, but it's not like novelty hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to be funny or like haha jokey. It's like the rhymes and the bars are still hard. So it's like a great contrast and balance.
Yeah, I agree. That's just one thing that, being an artist in music, sometimes it takes a while for you to kind of get your niche and like what you really feel is you. And I feel like that's what this was, because it incorporated all the things that I, am passionate about and enjoy watching, like pro wrestling or video games, different things like that. But like you said, Gabe, also using it in ways that make sense. Like it's not just a bunch, everything made sense for each song to me. So that went into play when we were putting it all together.
Yeah. C Money Wave was like my last interview on Radio 1 in Chicago about over a year ago. He came in with the belt and like we did like a whole group shot with it was perfect because I had no idea you were going to bring the belt in. But it felt like I was leaving the show with the strat, so it was totally great. It was just like it was perfect. So I always appreciate you for doing that. Sam had a chance to check out the record too. Did you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, man. I saw you got the Queen, Miss Brittany Carter, on there.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit more about the guest spots. How it came together, how your relationship with Hooligan developed, man. Dive in a little deeper on it.
Yeah. So with Brittany Carter, that kind of came together. She had already done some music with Hooligan, so it was kind of a layup in that regard. But I didn't have him reach out to her. I just we were sitting down and just listening to the different songs that we had, because I reached out to a lot of people,
Mhm.
and just kind of sent beats their way, and whoever was feeling it, they just hit me back. So we sat down, and I thought about Brittany Carter for sure because this is the type of music that fits her perfectly as well, especially with the production from Hooligan.
Yeah.
Right.
So we reached out. The first that was actually the first time I met her was the studio session that we did, and again, and she came in. Everything was smooth. Like I could tell the connection that we had for music as soon as she came in, and with Hooligan being there, she like, oh yeah, I got music with Hooligan too. So it was just like, it just came together so perfectly. She went in, did her part, and I always, anytime I do features, I always tell the artist I'm featuring with, like, there's like, be yourself on the track. Like, I never want to do a feature where it sounds like they're trying to conform to a sound. Like I would rather them just go in and just go crazy. Like there was no hook for "And Again." She went
Mm.
in, did her thing. While we were mixing it, we was like, "That's pretty dope. I should repeat the same thing after my verse." So I did the same thing, and that's how that was created. But yeah, she's dope. She's dope. She's really actually been pushing the project as well, which I think is really cool because sometimes you don't get that reciprocation from features like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's doing that, we're definitely going to be working together moving forward. Tons of different stuff there.
Yeah. And
As far as
and talk.
Hooligan,
Yeah, that's what I was
oh,
going
go
to
ahead.
ask you. You good? You good? Yeah, I just wanted to ask about Hooligan.
As
Yeah, we
far
got
as
Hooligan
oh,
joining
that
us on
perfect. There
the.
we go.
So fantastic.
Hey,
Let me put a cap.
What's good
Welcome to
with you?
Weekend
Hold
at
on, hold on.
Games, man. We appreciate. Oh,
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
cool, man. Thank you for joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. The real Sam Crane, our new producer here on the show, joining us as well. We're just catching you up a little bit about the makeup of the album, including the guest spot from Brittany Carter. How that connection was able to bridge that relationship for the album. Brittany was on the show late last year, before the end of the year when her new album came out, and she's a fantastic voice, and so that was a great catch for you guys because I don't think she does a ton of guest spots. So I know she was working a lot just on her own album. So for you guys to be able to nab that, it's pretty huge.
Definitely,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
When we heard
um,
it back, like it was also only two verses on there, and then our homie Mutiny, he heard it and he was like, "Man, I gotta get on that." And then we were mixing it as two verses, and Hooligan hit me and was like, "Yo, we gotta add that third verse. We gotta put him on there." Because originally it was just gonna be me and her going back and forth. And then when he came to the studio and spit his verse, I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like,
Yeah, it was a great addition.
yeah,
Yeah.
it fit perfectly. So it's crazy how it all came together.
That's fantastic. Sam was mentioning like your guys' relationship, Hooligan and C Money Wave. I know you guys kind of had like a previous working relationship where it's kind of like just singular tracks, but like what made you guys come together and like, all right, it's time, let's put together something like full for like a full project.
Well, we've been talking about it for a little while, and
Yeah,
it just never, we just never actually put it together, I guess. And then, you know, time went by, and we chopped it up here and there, and I started sending tracks through, and next thing I know, this man had shit ready to go. You know what I'm saying? He had the verses ready and everything. I was just like, okay. So I was like, come on, let's do it then. Let's go ahead, let's make it official.
oh, yeah.
There's and I was mentioning to See Money Wave is that Chris, that the record has it has like a boom bap nostalgic feel about it, but it also has and I hate to I think it's like kind of in the vein of what Griselda and their sound is, very moody. But then you also have another record where it kind of has like these video game elements as well. So it's like the sound of the entire project is so diverse that it doesn't sound like it's just one of anything. It feels like it's a bunch of a little bit of everything, but it fits so well together when you start to like sequence it together as far as the records go. and then like the different wrestling elements as well also sort of beefens it up. So I just think that the way that you guys were able to place this thing together is really phenomenal.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it took some on my end. I always wanted to do something to where like we throw those skits in the set because I know Hooligan. I know he don't watch like wrestling like that. So I'm like, yo, are you cool if I start looking for skits and doing this and doing that? And then I just start finding stuff to where like some of my favorite moments in wrestling or just some funny moments that I remember. And then I have a whole folder of those. So I just was going through trying to see like which ones would make with the songs that we're using, so that it would the sequence would work perfectly. And yeah, that's what happened. We just started loading them up in the studio. Nobody really knew. Like not even the engineer. I was just like, yo, I got this skit I want to put on it. And then I played it, and everybody like, what the? It worked, though. It worked.
And that's literally how it came together because I was just chilling. Well, my thing is I supply the beats, but I know C Money, like I know how he from hearing his music and seeing his progression as an artist, I know that he's able to put together his own thing. So I just kind of was hands off with it. I had my ear there and I heard it and it sounded right. So I trust the process with that.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I did anything that he said take you aback? Because I was telling him that the Joe Exotic line was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like this is I was like, yo, that's wild. Like it was just so good though, but it was just like, yo, that's crazy. It was such a great line.
Yeah, man, it was magic in the studio just seeing certain things come together and being there with Drew and seeing how he mixing everything and it was dope. So when certain lines came out like that, it was just like everybody just kind of looked around.
Yeah.
Y'all heard that? It's always that glance. It's always that look like, man,
Is that like as a producer, kind of like the best moments? Because I mean, you're doing your job and you're like providing the best sound, for your artists. And then when you're just like listening to the playback or listening to him deliver it, and you're like, yo, that's like that's special.
It's like the missing piece, is like it's all a puzzle at the end of the day. Like C Money, his voice is an instrument. And I
Yeah.
provide everything else. So it's like he just that last portion to go on top of it. And then and me, like I make beats. I don't really think of an artist, to be honest. Like I just kind of make them, So to send tracks out to people or just to collab with people and hear their spin on it, it's like, man, sometimes it just really just click.
So going off that, what is your process? You sit down, you say you don't make beats for artists. What does making a beat look like for you?
Well, I'm a huge sample fanatic. So like I'll go through records, I'll hear something, and really I just look for weird things to see if I can try to make it make sense. if I'm saying that right, it's just I just put my own spin on it basically, and I just go from there. I don't really have like a real solid formula or anything as far as building a track. Like I listen to it. I just try to vibe with it. I try to find something like a frequency or something that I can connect with, and then I go from there. You know what I'm saying? Save it, start something else, come back to it when I'm feeling different, and just add something else to it until it just, till it all comes together. So to be able to build stuff out and just having the ear to know like, okay, who would sound right over this,
Yeah.
So a lot of the beats that I was sending C Money, it was just like, man, I can hear him over this,
Right.
So it all worked out, at the end of the day. I got in the studio, started recording, everything just sounded right.
Well, you guys named it
Man,
the
it's
Silent Giant.
easy too. Like he's a wizard, low key. Like he be trying to downplay it. This man, he'll send beats through, and I'll be like, bro, how did like sometimes the verses write themselves as soon as the beat comes on. I remember the exact day that he sent me the beat for Grand Scheme, and I put
Mm.
it on as I was driving. And before I got off of my block, I was already writing the verse. Like that's how crazy the beat was. Like as soon as I heard the beat, I was just like, "Oh my god!" Because we were
And it
already
was
just about done recording, but then we snuck in like a few extra beats, and I was like, "We got to put that on there. Like it got to go on there." That and
yeah.
just it's
Now that was
yeah.
something I actually had in mind, because we were in the midst of making the project, so um, we were getting close to like really finishing up, and getting everything together, and that was a track that I was making. I was like, this is going straight. I'm sending this straight off. You know what I'm
Straight
saying? It's
on
like
there.
it was
Yeah.
no even a
Yeah.
thought.
Straight off.
So I was like,
That and the Monday Night Messiah beat. I heard it on his
yeah.
Instagram. I was like, bro, send that. Take that down. Send that. It's already through. Same thing. As soon as I got it, like it just clicked. It was easy.
Yeah.
The name of the EP, Silent Giant. Like, what do you guys? I think, you know, reading through the words a little bit, like you guys are coming, but is that kind of what you guys are trying to do? Put your stamp on the city, let people know that you are, someone to be reckoned with in this very huge field of Chicago hip hop.
I would say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah. I
I can agree
mean,
with that.
Hooligan actually kind of came up with the project name. So I don't know if you want to kind of break it down a little
To be honest, I don't even know. I come
bit.
up, I
It
try to
just
come up
sounded
with
good.
names all the time. Now for real, like I make beats and I try to find out names on how I could kind of keep track of them. You know what I'm saying? In the sense, so I just name my tracks different names or whatever, and that was just what popped in my head. Like when I was going through the tracks of the project, I was just like, if I was to name this project, that's the name I would give it. So when C Money asked about the name in the studio, I was just like, man, this was been on my mind. I couldn't even explain it really. Like the
Yeah, that's
vibe
true.
the vibe of the tracks and everything, that's just what I got from it. So
I
that's
love how
it
y'all
was
talk
it was
about y'all
sick.
relationship, like things just fall in place, things just click. It's really rare to have that relationship
Because
with a
it kind
producer
of
like that.
does. It really kind
Yeah.
of does. Like we didn't make it harder than it needed to be. Like
Yeah.
That's
he
so
sent
critical.
beats, I wrote to him. That was it, pretty much. And then when we got in the studio, um, we recorded. Like I move pretty quickly in the studio, so it's like it doesn't take long for. And a lot of those songs were kind of one verse hooks and just shorter than the average structure of a song with like two, three verses, hooks, bridges, and stuff like that. I also kind of threw that straight out the window when writing and putting it together. Like I wanted to just make it us, like no structure. We don't need to have a hook if we don't want to. We
Yeah.
can just have three people just going crazy, rapping their asses off on a crazy loop with a crazy sample and just a crazy beat, and that could be the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm,
we just try
Yeah,
not to make it harder than it needed to be.
I,
it's
I definitely agree with Gabe that like the bars stand on their own legs, so the hooks they're not necessary at points. So I love that y'all gave yourselves the freedom to do that.
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
as someone who respects like storytelling and hip hop, but also I appreciate just like just rapping. It's like don't like you said, like you don't have to overcomplicate it. And if it doesn't need a story, just go in. Um,
Yeah.
Exactly.
is there a downside to just barring out? It's like because people are like, no, the raps are great, but like I don't.
It takes a lot of trust from Hooligans aspect to let him, just go to work. Those are his
Be
beats.
to make the executive decision, like this is fine. Like I like.
I mean, I understand it. Even from a producer standpoint, it comes a time where you kind of don't want to just continuously make bar beats, like beats that you just hear bars on. It gets very, what's the word I'm looking for? You get comfortable doing it, just creating loops and drums, sending it. So it is something to break out of, to actually want to construct more of a song, But certain rappers, like they have that, you just want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It's like if I give you this beat, it is straight bars. Like I want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you that. But sometimes it does benefit to kind of sway from that and actually construct something.
Yeah, and I think with C Money, like you just came off the Surf album, like, and you like there's a lot going on with that record that I think this was kind of like your I refer to it as your sandbox. Like I'm gonna do whatever I want in this space because it's different than what you just heard me do a year and a half ago. So I'm gonna give you something different, and I think that's totally acceptable. So you don't fall in the trap of just repeating what you already did because you already done it. So like this is something different. And definitely. And I went back and listened to Surf, and it's like this album is polar opposite than that album, and so that just proves gradual growth and being a mature artist and doing something different. So I appreciate it.
And I appreciate that as well because that's exactly what I was going for. But that's also what I was most worried about is because a lot of people that enjoy Surf or Drown were, they enjoy certain aspects of like relatability, learning personal stuff about me they may not have known, just listening to like a full body of work constructed the way that it was constructed. So when I was doing this, I was like, man, trying to like wondering like, I wonder if people that like Surf or Drown are still gonna like this, or are they gonna listen to it, or whatever the case may be. But after it came out, all the love that it's gotten is just like everybody that I expected to like it, they really like it and they're pushing it. And every supporter that I had from Surf or Drown is still, supporting, still rolling with us. And it just it makes me feel good because this is where I feel the most me and the most free making music. And I don't know if I told you this, Hooligan, but like I feel like anytime I get a beat from you, like it's just literally you hit it on the head, Gabe. It's like a playground, like a sandbox.
That,
it's a blank canvas, so like I can paint however I want to on it. I can spit 32 bars and then give you like a cool little hook or bridge, something that you can sing along with. Like I can literally do whatever I want to do over these beats without the constraints of, well, that was nice, but what's the hook? Or how are people gonna sing this at concerts and stuff like that? And I've been to concerts. I've been to a Griselda concert where everybody there knew all of the verses. Like they're not big on hooks either, but everybody there were just rapping the verses. So I'm like, if that can be done, this can be done as well.
Absolutely. Silent Giant EP, it's out there on all digital streaming platforms. Go out there and support it. It's a fantastic listen. I've shared it with friends, hip hop friends, and I don't share a lot of records because there's too many, and a lot of them ain't great. So, but this one I've been sharing to all my friends and telling everyone about it. So I hope hopefully that'll put a couple extra streams in your guys' pockets for you. So,
but I would definitely catch that joint on Breaking Sound Radio on Saturdays.
Yeah, Sam
catch a few of those records. We're gonna put a few more on this week. I promise.
Sam picked it up. So thank you guys for joining us, man. C Money Wave, Hooligan. I wish you guys the best. Please stop back whenever you guys want to come through. We're definitely here to support.
Yes, appreciate it. Thank you guys for having us.
All right, that's C Money Wave and Hooligan joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. We're expecting Vel the General to join us in just a bit to talk about his new album, The Militia. But Silent Giant, man, it's a fantastic piece of work, and I highly encourage everyone to go check it out when they, if you're looking to put some new music. I reviewed it for Vocalo this week, so I think they played it yesterday, and I'm hoping that people go out there and give it a chance, because it is a really phenomenal piece of work from two of Chicago's young artists, young guns in the game. So
it's really great to see that relationship. Like, you don't see that from a lot of rappers and producers these days. So it's nice to see that.
Absolutely. All right, you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe and the real Sam Crane. Joining us now, friend of the show. I haven't seen OG in a minute. Vel the General, man. He got the new album, The Militia, out. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
You got some heavy hitters on this record, man. Heavy hitters. So it's like it felt right too. It's like, Jadakiss introduced you on Fuck Your Feelings. Who else is on there? Vic Spencer jumps on there. Smoke DZA on there. Race Bannon on there. I mean, you got like OGs in the game really riding shotgun with you.
Yes, sir, man. I on that album, I just wanted to, try to show that I can hang with the best of the best. You feel me? So I just reached out to a lot of artists that I respect. They craft, and reached out to them, and man, it went perfectly.
Exactly. How does one go about getting Jadakiss to introduce you? Because I can't imagine that's an easy task.
Well, basically, somebody actually had tagged me into one of his posts. He was looking for some artists to work with, and I hit him up in the inbox, and surprisingly, he had hit me back. I had sent him a couple tracks, sent him some videos, and he was like, "Man, pretty dope, man. You just need some guidance and the right type of grooming, and you'll be all right." So, man, he hooked me up. He liked the FYF joint, and he sent the voice tag through, and from there it was like, man, it's a blessing.
Usually I think that people have been really skeptical about some of those. Like, hey, I'm Ghostface. I want to work with you young artists if you send me $500 first.
Exactly.
So I'm glad it worked out for the best for you, because I was like, when you were telling that story, I'm like, oh, this could go sideways really fast.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people was trying to a lot of artists was doing that, man, trying to scam the artists and everything like that.
So trash.
I looked at it differently though. Like I'm chasing a legacy, so I just that'd be a good thing on my legacy. So even if it was a little bit of investment, you just invest in yourself, man, and just keep going. So at least I got that on my to-do list, checklist. You feel me? So I just keep moving and grooving, man.
Exactly. Well, one of the things about the record is that you first you're just barring out, and we're just talking to C Money Wave, and they have a whole EP about that. But the same thing with your record a little bit too. It says, and you mentioned this as well, and one of the things that stands out about you, and I've mentioned this before, is just your flow, your delivery, your cadence, just your presence on the mic is in itself worth just stopping and listening to. But you acknowledge that a lot. Like you know that you're in pocket on a lot of these records, and you're telling us that.
Yes, sir. Man, I take pride in it, man. I take pride in it. And I kind of like to switch up the cadence every blue moon, so you'll never get some of these artists, they come out and all their music sound the same for years and years. So I like to switch the cadence up so you can never get bored and just always be interested.
You tend to lean towards a lot of the military, with the albums, The Militia, The Platoon. Is this is there gonna be a trilogy of records? What's the follow-up?
So basically, it's I'm on a mission, man. So as far as with the music, I'm also promoting my business and everything, and I got a big plan as far as putting some good music out there that is kind of opposite of what's on the airwaves, and kind of where you can learn and grow from. So the mission, I'm on a mission. So that's why everything that drops has something to do Morse Code, The Platoon, and definitely I got another one that's coming. I got a boom bap album called Revolutionary War. It's pretty dope.
Who's behind that? Is it one producer, or you got a number of folks that are helping craft that?
I got well, this is gonna be a boom bap album because I like to switch it up. This one was more so for the airways. I'm trying to, get. I'm
Yeah.
working with 92.3. Get. So I'm flipping back to Morse code. The boom bap album. So I got original Super Legend on there. I got Kanata Smith, Decaders. Man, it's some hitters on there as far as with the boom bap beat. So that's gonna be real fresh hip hop is.
Do you like messing with like the boom bap a lot? Like, because people have their feelings. They're like, well, it's for nostalgic. It feels good to listen to, but then it's like, well, it's been done. But I always feel like when young artists go back and mess with it, like they add something to it that wasn't done before. So I'm always interested to see what that kind of drum pattern you guys are gonna rock over with. So I'm really interested to see what you're gonna do to that.
Yeah, I love the boom bap, man. The boom bap is it's actually when I first started out, it was hard for me to get beats. So original Super Legend, which was the producer at Morse Code, that's all he sent me was boom bap beats. So I'm actually more comfortable with a boom bap beat than like the newer type of beats that you hear on the radio. Because it's like it give you more opportunity to talk about a wide spread of things opposed to just sticking in one lane.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the boom bap, and it's just a different feeling. I call it super rap, man, because it's super, man, when it all come together, and it's crazy.
You've been doing this for a while now, Val. I know that I met you like 5-6 years ago when you passed through the radio. But you've been doing this for like a while,
Yeah, man. So the only difference is now I'm tired of waiting on people, man, because I even back then I thought I was pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? And I started my own record label, man. So sometimes you got to sign yourself, man. So that's the difference now. So Vail the General presents the militia. I mean the platoon, and this album is called the militia. Exactly.
I think Ludacris already gave us that information years ago. Sign yourself to yourself.
Exactly. Just gotta listen and study the blueprint, man. Study the blueprint of those that come before you. You feel me?
I often think about this for often people will say like, I don't know how to do that, or I didn't go to school for that. But if think about like all the books that are sitting on our shelves, the internet, people we know, resources, like there's really no reason if there's something you wanted to do, there's a way to find out how to do it. Like someone knows how to do it, or you could get the information to do it. And it often puzzles me when people with all the information in their hand will say like, I just don't know. So I'm glad that you're putting that into action and controlling your own career.
Yeah, man. So that's why, I try to get these big features on there because it's like, I want people to tune in and start listening to what we got to bring out. I got 2 artists so far. One guy's a brother that I grew up with, Jay Holmes, and another guy's Legendary, another guy that I grew up with. And so far, we just making quality music. And I wanted to reach out to these other artists so I can just show them, hey, man, that guy pretty dope and he can hang with the best of them. So, and get them tuned in. And so now I just want to flood them and keep continuing to give them good work.
Yeah. I thought what was that? I know that probably I don't know what the recording process was Smoke Dizza, but like take me to that because he's obviously a fantastic MC in his own right. So for you guys to collaborate, and it sounds fantastic, by the way. The record you guys did, Writings on the Wall, and it didn't feel like he just threw a verse on there, like he was in the theme of the record. So if like he was listening to what you were doing and following it up, which is very sometimes not always what happens. What big guest features and sort of unknown artists.
Right. So with the Smoke Dizza, actually Seasick made that beat, and after the Jadakiss vouch, I was trying to see if I can get Jadakiss to jump on that second.
Good job.
That's where the big bucks came in at, and I'm like, oh man, I really can't afford that, Jada, man. So I'm
it's like I like the young gun, but however.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the vouch, and then I'm like, you know what? I gotta get a big artist on there though. So I just went through a list of artists that I respected, and hit Smoke up in the inbox. I told him, hey man, I got this track. It's about leaving a legacy and just hustling hard and actually not being famous today, but actually working on something and going the long run. And he was like, hey man, send it to me. And he didn't even charge me that much, and I respected the price, and it actually worked organically. I recorded it here with Seven Lee down in the Mad Lab, sent it over to him. He sent it right back in 2 days with a great verse too. So it was like, man, it was a blessing.
That's fantastic, man. That's a great
I'm
like
actually,
yeah.
I'm actually working on right now going to New York. I'm going to shoot a video with Smoke for that, and I might get Jadakiss in the FYF Means video as well.
Oh man, that'd be huge. Breaking news here on Weekend at Games.
Yeah, that's all I need. Man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Sam, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, man. I mean, we talked a lot about the album. You had some really huge artists on there. You know, what's the ambition for the next one, man? Like, are you gonna get Jadakiss again? Is there people on the list that you missed, maybe that you made, and you want to circle back around on them?
This next one, it'll probably be I'm going back to like working with the artists on the label, because I only got one artist from the label on there. That's Jay Holmes. He's on the Why Do Fools Fall in Love, the outro. So right now, working on, it'll be big producer names on this one actually. So I got like a lot of beats, and I just want to just keep giving them good work. So right now, I'm actually trying to get Rock Marciano. So that's
Marcy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to be able to shark and hang with these guys, man. And I got some great concepts that I believe it'll make the collaboration easy. You know, it's like, hey man, it's easy work. So I like to think of when I write my music or I'm making the music, I like to think of it as being a point guard and just throwing a lob to a great artist. So it's kind of like Chicago Ebonics with Vic Spencer. I was reaching out because I actually catered that song and made it for Buck from Psychodrama. Like if you kind of go back and the flow of it, I wanted his cadence on it, and he was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna do it this price. And he was like, you know what, well, I can save a couple bucks and go to Vic Spencer, and you know, Vic hooked me up, man. It came out perfectly. So definitely got more songs coming with Vic Spencer, man. He's a hard worker as well.
There's very few people that work as hard as Vic Spencer.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
He's
got inspired actually. Like, man, you know, you're a real artist, man. Every week hustling and grinding in the studio every week, and I'm like, man, you know, I got to take some notes. Yeah,
we're birthday, like our birthdays are separated by 1 day, so we always like shoot each other a happy birthday. Like we're he's a Virgo, I'm a Libra. He's a Libra, I'm a Virgo, so we're like 1 day separate. So I always love talking to Vic because it feels like he's I think he thinks that people don't like him. But I'm like, people really like you, Vic. But he attacks the records like I got something to prove. No one wants me to win. I'm like, there you have a lot more supporters than you probably realize. But I understand what you're doing.
Like the Reggie Miller playing the bad guy role. Yeah, I think that's what he motivation to keep going harder though. So sometimes whatever works in this, you know, in this music industry to keep yourself motivated, you got to keep going, man. So you got to take it and keep.
He's the Michael Jordan meme. I took that personally. You didn't listen to my record. I took that personally. So I appreciate Vic Spencer. So when I saw him jump on this, I mean, but it's like, you know, and I think that, you know, following your career a lot, it's like you've done a lot of records by yourself, and so I see kind of like what you were doing as far as like trying to expand your name a little bit by associating with some bigger names, but it doesn't feel like at all that like you're riding their wave, like you're with them, like you're on par as far as the recording goes and your delivery and your presence on the record. So it doesn't feel like you're just sort of tagging along onto their star, you know. So I think that's a really fantastic move on your part.
Yeah, exactly. So that just goes back. That goes back to as far as like chasing a legacy, man. So it's like when it's all said and done, I'll be able to say like, hey man, you know, I got on the track and I was able to hang. Because I always felt like you could stick me in a room with anybody, man. Like the greatest rappers of all time, Jay-Z, Biggie. I'll hold my own weight. For sure. So I always express that in interviews. So I just want to keep trying to show that, and just hopefully other artists will hear that. Like, hey, you know what, this guy from Chicago is pretty good, and maybe they'll come and, you know, work with me. But other than that, I'm just gonna keep grinding.
Exactly. Last time I spoke to you when you came through the radio, this is like maybe 2 years ago. We had this. I think we had a cipher up there. Did you mention? I want to say that. Did you mention like you were going to do like a little bit of acting or a little bit of on camera work? Did I make that up?
No, not really. I was I've been in 2 movies, man. I've been in 2 movies. One is on Netflix. It's entitled Beats. And the crazy thing, I was supposed to be just a background artist that just sit in the background while they're in the studio with Dave East, Anthony Anderson, and that thing. But the actual artist who they was paying to actually rap in the movie was messing up, so I had to speak up. And I said, "Hey, man, well, if you need a guy, you need a professional on there. I can go up and
You ain't never just tell them that exact sentence.
yeah."
That's crazy.
So they was like, "Hey, man, let's get a guy a chance," but they didn't know actually I could rap. So it was a boom bap beat playing. I rap, and they actually gave me a speaking role. But the thing is, by me not having as many followers as the other guys, they didn't put me in. But the great thing is, I get a check for it. I still get a check. And Anthony Anderson, I owe him a lot because after my verse, he was like, "Yo, this the guy we looking for. We need him in the movie. We need him in the movie." And it's like, "Well, he's not in the budget, sir." He's like, "Well, take it out of my cut." So I get a check that comes, and actually, they offered me to be into the SAG. They actually offered me my SAG card from that. So,
Oh wow.
Good for you, man.
it was pretty dope. I just wish that I would have got my little 15 seconds of fame in the movie, or at least y'all could send me the behind the scenes footage because I had Davies, Dreezy, everybody just going crazy in the warehouse where we was recording at that day. They was like, "Man, this guy can really flow." But it still was a great thing. But to me, the acting thing is hard, man. It's like it's too much. My second day I was like, "Yo, I'm tired, man. I'm ready to go, man. It's crazy." But hey, if anybody else want to, send me a shot, I got 2 movies under my belt. I think another one is coming out this summer, and in this one, I actually got
The speaking role.
A speaking role and a little scene where I break up a robbery. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
There you go, man. Expanding yourself beyond music. That's the natural move, man. Branching out.
Yeah, you got to all come together like gumbo, man. You got to just go everywhere and come together like gumbo for sure.
Man, I'm like you're one of the artists that I really look out for, and I always am appreciative because I think you're a little bit quiet for a while, and I was like, damn, what's Vel doing? And then you reached out, you're like, yo, I got the album out, man. It's like, all right, fantastic.
I like to do that. And when I first started off early in my career, I used to pay a lot of PR guys, and it was just like I wasn't getting the bang for my buck. So I kind of just like to do it organic and cater to my core audience because those are the people that keep me motivated to keep going. So that's like when I sent you the video, you was like, "Hey, Vel, I'm glad that you're really working and really back rapping as well."
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
So I looked at the pandemic, this COVID-19 thing is just an opportunity to work while everybody else was not working. So during COVID-19, I dropped 2 albums, 4, 5, 6 videos, and I'm just trying to keep working. So once everything clears back up, people could say like, "Hey, I know one guy that was consistently dropping music and bringing us great content, and he deserves a shot." So yeah, I'm just going to keep going hard.
Man, keep grinding, man. We always I'm a huge fan of yours, and I always want you to do well. So I'm glad that things are starting to look up as far as the music thing goes, and as well as the Platoon label and the artists that you have coming up under you. So it's really, really exciting to see what the future holds for you.
Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate it, man. Every time you invite me out, appreciate it for sure.
Exactly. Well, next time we meet, hopefully it'll be in person. So
Yes, sir. Man. I pull up to wherever you at, man. I appreciate you every time, man.
Listen, I've already told people like, listen, I fall under the obese category. The COVID be eating motherfuckers up like me. Like I can't be around nobody. So I got one more vaccine shot to go, and then I might be able to get out there in the field.
That's cool. I definitely appreciate you for putting the people on, man, and I always appreciate you for inviting me out, man, for sure.
Absolutely, man. I love great hip hop. I love hardcore hip hop, but I also just like rappers who could rap, and that helps. So
I wish they'd turn this thing around, man. But hey, I'm gonna just keep grinding it. Sometimes it might take longer, but once you get it, at least I'll have some training, so I'll be able to keep it. Some guys get on and they just lose it off. So I'm ready for it, man. So when it comes, I'll be ready.
No, exactly, man. Just like what is it? You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. So you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Vel the General joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's. The new album, The Militia, is out on all streaming platforms. Go support Chicago hip hop. I don't want to say underground hip hop. It's just good hip hop. Go put that in your life. It's the thing to do. Thank you, man. Enjoy the rest of your evening. All right.
Appreciate y'all, man.
All right, Vel the General joining us here on Weekend at Gabe's on this Tuesday night, and that is going to be our time. The real Sam Crane joining me, co-piloting tonight's show, and who's going to be featured going forward. I thank you again for joining this ride, man. I look forward to us working together and branching
Wait,
out.
couple things to plug. Well, really just one thing to plug. The mix drops tomorrow on audius.co. If you're not familiar with Audius, it's the new blockchain streaming service. Go listen to the mix. It's absolutely crazy. We went down from an hour to 30 minutes and somehow fit in more music. So that's nuts. So check that joint out.
We need to incorporate music somehow, but I don't want to get thrown off Twitch. So I don't know how we're going to do that. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But, man, thanks again. Tell people they can follow you on these social medias.
Follow me on all social media at OP_Savuel. You can check out my username is The Real Sam Crane. Follow me on Audius, Sam Crane. It's just all regular. Sam Crane, I'm the real one, yo. I'm the real one. Just find me. Just type it in. Just look for me. The guy with the blonde highlights. I look like Justin Timberlake if he really let himself go.
Let me tell the quick story of how I met you and Mike from OP Sav. I was guest judging a local talent show. Was it? It was in was that in the South Loop? The one
that was Refuge. That was Refuge. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
with Chase Money, he was hosting that joint. We had Chubb in that joint, who's a member of
Multi.
Multi-Band.
DJ Mile High was he?
Mile High was there. Yep. Yeah. Mile High was there. We was dancing on the tables.
So yeah, you guys were like jumping on tables, jumping on chairs. And but the thing that stood out to me, it was like, yo, when you come through OP, you have to check in with us. And I was like, that's it. Give these guys the check, whatever it is. They I thought you guys were fantastic. Then I've always followed you guys since. You guys do great work. So I hope that you guys are still
and they're still out there pushing, man. We got a Money Mike album on the way, Multi-Band on Twitch, Mike Nyucka on Twitch. It's we invading the platform, baby. We're still out here working.
There you go. So I've recruited one half of OP Sav to be part of Weekend at Games. Mission accomplished. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back Friday night. We're still planning and plotting, so we'll have a great show lined up for Friday night at 8 o'clock, same place, same time, right here on Twitch, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, every and anywhere. Look for Weekend at Gabe's and follow me on the social medias at Weekend Gabe. Have a great Tuesday night, everyone.
Peace.